One strange detail in The Lord of the Rings is that the Nazgûl seem to have a problem with water. And once you notice it, it becomes one of those small Tolkien details that makes you ask, why would the Ringwraiths be afraid of rivers? These were not normal enemies. The Nazgûl were Sauron's most feared servants. They were the Nine, men who had once been kings, sorcerers, and warriors, but were slowly consumed by the rings of power. They did not simply die, they faded. They became trapped between the physical world and the unseen world, bound to Sauron's will and enslaved by the power of the One Ring. So when they appear in The Lord of the Rings, they are terrifying because they do not act like ordinary men. They bring fear with them. Their voices can freeze people with terror. Their presence makes even brave characters feel dread. And yet, several times in the story, water seems to slow them down. That is where the mystery begins. When Frodo is being hunted by the Black Riders, rivers become important barriers. They do not just ride freely across them like normal horsemen. They hesitate. They search for crossings. They are delayed. And the biggest example happens near Rivendell. Frodo is wounded, weak, and almost taken by the Ringwraiths. The Nazgûl are closing in on him, and it feels like there is no escape. Then, Frodo reaches the Ford of Bruinen, a river crossing. The Nazgûl follow him, but they do not simply win. The waters rise in a flood, and the Black Riders are swept away. Their horses are destroyed, and their physical forms are broken for a time. That scene makes water feel like more than just water. It feels like nature itself is pushing back against Sauron's shadow. But here is the important part. Tolkien never gives one simple answer that says, the Nazgûl are weak to water. This is not like a vampire being weak to sunlight. It is more subtle than that. The Nazgûl were not helpless around water. They could cross rivers when needed. They were still dangerous. But they did seem uncomfortable with it, especially moving water. And that fits Tolkien's world. In Middle-earth, rivers, forests, mountains, and ancient places often feel alive with meaning. Nature is not just background scenery. It carries memory, power, and resistance. Water especially has a kind of cleansing and protective feeling. The Nazgûl are creatures of shadow, fear, corruption, and domination. Water represents movement, life, and purity. So when these servants of Sauron come up against running water, it makes sense that they would not feel completely at home.